Donald Trump sure has an odd approach to attracting Michigan voters. Now, Michigan is a swing state, and it is currently, I believe, in the polls within the margin of error. And I don't trust polls. I think the polls are skewed heavily in favor of Donald Trump and toward making this thing a close race and a horse race, and that's how the media is going to report it. However, Donald Trump needs to win Michigan. He doesn't have very many paths to victory in the Electoral College without Michigan. And he's trying to appeal to voters. Okay. Well, what does he do? He goes to Detroit a couple of weeks ago and he says things like, if Kamala Harris wins, we're going to be a shithole country and the rest of the country is going to be like Detroit. Like I said, he was in Detroit. And I'm guessing if you're from Detroit, you think it's pretty great. Well, Donald Trump thinks it's awful. So he says the rest of the country is going to be like what you see around you. Now, if you think Detroit's great, you're going to think, oh, the rest of the country is going to be doing pretty good. All right, I like that. So it sounded almost like he was campaigning for Kamala Harris. But beyond that, last night he was doing an event in Michigan. He was 3 hours late because of taping the Joe Rogan podcast. And he sent them a message while he was on the plane saying, yeah, we're running behind. It's because of I was taping the Joe Rogan podcast. Didn't know the guy that well, but I think he's great now, blah, 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 blah. And you hear scores of voters are leaving his rally because he was 3 hours late. Okay, so that's not appealing to voters. Then today, he's at another rally in Michigan and he goes back to the Detroit thing. He says, you think places like Detroit make us a third world country, a developing nation. Detroit makes us a developing nation. That's not what I think. And I'm sure if you're from Michigan, you probably don't think that either. Maybe you don't necessarily care for the city, whatever. But it's not gonna get you on good terms with the voters. So what is his plan? To insult the people of Michigan until they vote for him? Doesn't make any sense. It's an odd way to attract voters. And if anything, it's going to alienate more voters. I keep saying he's not going to win this election. He does stupid stuff like this. And nobody can tell him otherwise because he won't listen to anybody. So he just got an odd approach to Michigan. Makes no sense to me. And we'll see. But I'm predicting Kamala Harris is probably going to win Michigan. I could be wrong. But I think with him doing stunts like this, that she is definitely going to win Michigan because Donald Trump is going to repel voters because they're not going to want to vote for him when he makes comments like that. He's late to rallies, etc. Just an odd approach from a very odd campaign that Donald Trump is running. It's almost like he's trying not to win with some of the stunts he's pulling. But like I said, we'll see what happens here in a week or two in the election. But I think Kamala Harris is going to take Michigan.